Hey, did you hear that Tremors 5 came out?
I was just gonna make the same joke. Yes, I heard about Tremors 5 a million times when it was in pre-production, when it was just an idea, when it was being made,
Yeah,
when there
but
was
did
the
you know
teaser.
you're holding it in your hand?
Oh my god, let's watch it.
Okay.
What is this?
In the past.
Hey, so anyway, you guys gonna watch Tremors 5? So Tremors 5 came out today. I pre-ordered it. It came in today.
She's gonna ship this review out as quick as possible, so you shut up!
We haven't even watched it yet. That's how quick we're reviewing it. What do you think this covers?
I don't know. I don't think they look like that at all. What a piece of shit.
Oh, they got Michael Gross back. I hate that guy.
I was hoping they'd recast him. And it could be a remake.
Oh my god.
A brilliant remake.
Jamie Kennedy is Burt Gummer.
Yeah, just cast Jamie Kennedy as Burt Gummer. I like guns. Poser!
Poser!
That's your Jamie Kennedy impression. I like guns.
I'm trying to be Burt Gummer, yeah.
Yeah, Jamie Kennedy as Burt Gummer. We'll get to Jamie Kennedy in a bit. But first,
this movie was another yummer from the Gummer.
From the old gummy bear.
Gummy bear.
That is a win! That's a yummer from the gummer.
Geez, Gummy Drops, we get it. You like to get cozy with your guns.
Hey, gummy bears, wait up.
Don't call me that.
Alright, so let's just summarize Tremors 5 for you guys. If you haven't seen the TV series, or even the previous movies, really, it's not hard to understand what's going on here. They do a summary. The TV series really has nothing to do with what's going on here.
They do a recap via Burt's reality show, which kind of sums up what they are and how they work.
Yeah, he's doing like a series of survival videos, which I think was part of the series, wasn't it? That he was doing survival videos?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, so I guess that's a bit of continuity if you're a real fan of the series. A real fan.
It made enough
notice.
sense, too, that he'd do a survivalist show. So.
Yeah, oh, it makes sense.
It's not like, what? Why would you do that?
Yeah, no, it makes perfect sense. And like I said, you don't have to have seen the series to understand what's going on, even if you just watched the movies.
It did bug me a little, though, that they're showing like these effects, like this was the intro for a show, but then they're also showing the box with record around it in the same
Just to
thing.
let you know.
Yeah, it's like, all right, we got that it's his reality show thing, but then you put that there. It's like, well, why was the editing on these other shots, with the effects and stuff for the intro, but then you got the box with the record on it?
I don't know.
It's not consistent.
That's just a movie thing, TV thing they do.
Yeah,
the record.
but it still bugs me every time they do it because there's no point.
Who's hungry?
Burt is still in Nevada 10 years later after the, well, I guess not even 10 years later because the fourth movie is a prequel. So, I don't know, however many years later from the TV series in the third movie. Anyway, he ends up getting called to South Africa where they have some ass blasters, and he goes there along with Jamie Kennedy, who shows up saying that he's a huge fan of his and wants to basically expand his brand and film for him and be his videographer. And he basically sneaks his way in there by offering him a gun. And he is the annoying sidekick, which is par for the course for the Tremors series to have an annoying sidekick.
He's a poser.
Poser!
It's not unheard of in the series to have annoying sidekick guy, but he is by far the worst, I think, out of all of them. Like, I think Grady had the title before him, and now he has the title taken from him.
Last check. How many Twitter followers did you have, huh? Zilch.
Because I can still enjoy watching Grady. Jamie Kennedy was a little bit harder.
His character was weird in some aspects because I took it, that he was supposed to be, mostly kind of lame, like he's trying to look tougher than he is, but then they have him go do some badass things. I'm like, wait, so is he supposed to, like, he walks this weird line?
Well, they start off with him, like, doing badass motorcycle tricks. But
yeah,
then he's
with the hang time forever.
Yeah, where they do the intro with the motorcycle tricks. Then he acts really lame, but then he's sort of capable, and they act like he's sort of savvy about stuff, because he kind of worms his way into things, like he's a talker, but I think honestly most of it is Jamie Kennedy's improv. Because you could tell from the outtakes that he was improvising a lot of that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how much of it was the character and how much was his improv. Some of the outtakes were actually funnier than what was in the movie. I'm like, why didn't they pick that? That was actually kind of funny.
Because we just blew up their glory hole. What? Their nest. We ruined it.
He was probably fun on set, but in the movie itself, he's a little bit harder to like.
You're the Burt zone now.
One of the scenes that was cut was kind of like, I don't know, it showed a little bit more range for his character where he's trying to tell him he's his son, but he doesn't.
By the way, Jamie Kennedy is Burt Gummer's son.
Maybe. He didn't get the paternity test yet.
We don't really know.
Yeah, dog. I want a paternity test.
You know, I came into this not wanting to hate on Jamie Kennedy. Like, everyone is like, it kind of annoys me when someone's like, oh, this actor's in this movie, that means it's automatically going to be bad. But usually it's kind of true. Because when I think about it, like, I'm like, oh, I like Jamie Kennedy, but then I'm like, out of what? Scream. But how much goodwill can Scream have? Because when I think about it, really there is nothing else. Everything else I've seen him in has been terrible. Malibu's Most Wanted was terrible. Jamie Kennedy Experiment was terrible. His improv show, his prank show.
I don't remember much that I've seen him in. I saw some probably direct-to-video movies with him that I've completely forgotten.
Yeah.
Can you say bowling?
He's not unwatchable in it, but I would say he's the worst part of it. If I had to pick a
And he's
worst
got
part.
beard connectors, pretty sweet.
He's got the beard connectors
He's
that we
fucking
always
Aries.
Yeah, we always joke about on Xena. He's got the beard connectors. He kind of looked like Guy Fieri if he didn't bleach his hair.
Yeah.
So we just kept imagining like, whoa, going to Flavor Town in South Africa.
It's about as good as when he did that like coffee thing to that one. Called her a mocha latte or some shit. Whatever he's going off on.
When he sees the vet and he starts going like, oh, mocha latte, whatever, like hitting on him. Yeah.
You are like a holiday drink, like a caramel macchiato, pumpkin spice latte, but instead of pumpkin, it's African spice.
It's like, what?
I thought they were gonna set up some romance with her, and thank God they didn't.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, no, he's got to earn it, and I don't think he's gonna do it, and he didn't. Like, when he started getting less obnoxious near the end, it's kind of like, it's too little, too late, man. You already tainted the rest of the movie. I don't think you're gonna fix this.
I don't know. Like, it didn't ruin any of the Burt Gummer stuff for me or
No.
anything, having him around.
He's still awesome.
Yeah.
Michael Gross is still awesome. It doesn't feel lame, even though he's older now. Like, it still feels like yesterday. Like, you pop in, like, 3, and then you pop in this one, and it still feels like Burt Gummer. And the 4th one felt a little lame, but it's not supposed to be
Yeah,
the same
this one is
character
way
anyway.
better than 4.
Yeah, we're just gonna say right now, this is better than 4, and I can enjoy 4 on a so bad it's good level, but not necessarily a good movie. And the 5th one was a lot better. Like, it was leaps and bounds better than 4. And the effects were a lot better. Like, it's CGI too, but CGI has improved so much since the early 2000s. Like, it looks really good.
That was one of the cool things about this movie, is seeing, the graboids and stuff in better, effects than, like, shitty sci-fi looking things.
Well, they don't really look like they did.
Yeah, because they were a different breed, but still it was neat to see better CG of them, regardless.
Yeah.
But yeah, they were a different breed because the African ones bred somewhat different.
I guess it's supposed to be them adapting to their environment, and sort of like they adapted to Africa because they were on a different continent. I don't know exactly how this stuff adapts better to Africa versus Nevada, because I mean they're both desert-like environments.
There's supposed to be a different species of them that were always in Africa.
Maybe like they were always there and they got kind of unearthed like the graboids did, but they adapted in a different way.
They just didn't tell us how.
Yeah, they don't really explain it at all, actually.
Yeah,
They just say
said
that
we
they're
saw
different.
ass blasters. You better come with us.
I guess they don't need body heat to get them, though they do have the
They
heat
still
vision.
are looking through heat vision, so...
They do, but they don't need it because they had the line about that where they're like, they must have seen the heat from the car and they said it was cold.
Mm-hmm.
So there's something where they don't have to, you can't shield yourself from them by shielding your body heat. Again, it's not really clear.
Sometimes, but yeah, it's like, I guess it doesn't trick them as much. I don't know.
Yeah, they're supposed to be smarter, which is par for the course again. Like, they always adapt and get smarter. So I guess that's sort of what they were doing there.
Again with the roof?
I liked the environment a lot in this. Like, I liked seeing Africa. They actually shot in South Africa. They had South African actors. And that was a neat change.
I liked that guy in the vet more than I thought I would because they had a bit of personality. Like when they did that Jurassic Park scene.
They do that killed me too when they did that. They did straight up the raptors in the kitchen scene from Jurassic Park. Like some of the shots are just shot for shot, the raptor scene, but with an ass blaster.
But with some Kool-Aid manning through the wall.
Kool-Aid manning through the wall because it's cooler than a raptor, right? Yeah, I liked them a lot. I was pretty invested in what was going on with them, and it did remind me of Jurassic Park a lot. But, I liked the vet lady with her bow and arrow.
That was awesome.
Yeah, and they had like the little kid.
She had the flaming arrows too, blew stuff up. It's great.
I thought they were setting up the romance with Jamie Kennedy and the vet lady, and they didn't. And then I thought, like, maybe at the end when he was still kind of trying, maybe the other guy would come in, because they seemed to be setting something up when he was, like, really protective of her daughter and stuff like that, where it's like, oh, okay, that's sweet that he's cares about her daughter and the family.
Yeah.
But then it didn't really come together at the end. It just sort of, I mean, he was there with them, and but that didn't seem to have a conclusion to it, I guess. There's a lot of great Burt stuff in this. At one point, he gets put in a cage by the guy who hired him out, said that he was part of like a wildlife preserve thing, but he was actually a poacher who was trying to get an egg and sell it on the black market or something. And he puts Burt in a cage, and they just have this long sequence of him going crazy.
Yeah.
Like, they do the Burt Gummer fan service.
Yeah.
Thank God, we finally got to see Burt Gummer in his shorts, half naked in the desert, drinking his own piss.
A lot of piss in this movie, because also a lion comes up to the cage. He's like, finally some shade.
Shade at last.
It was a great lead up to that too. He's like, shoot me, because you'll never cage me. I liked
a lot of great one-liners in this.
I think my favorite was, what a bag of dicks.
Yeah, bag of dicks.
This is a bag of dicks.
What was your favorite one-liner?
Fuck, I forget it now. So many.
You had like these fart blasting, whatever.
Oh yeah, the fart. Fuck, that was my favorite one. What was it though?
I'll show the clip.
Show the clip of whatever it actually was.
Those fart-flaming sons of bitches have crossed your DMZ.
Lots of fart humor.
And he broke out the need-to-know info again.
Yeah, he broke out. But it didn't seem lame. Sometimes when they do the callbacks, it's kind of like, that was kind of a lame callback. But they did it sort of in a way. It's like,
well, that's when the serpent tongue things were breaking off.
Why is it the critical need-to-know information never gets to Burt Gummer?
I liked his line about he was leaving him his last will and testament while he's in the cage, and he's talking to Heather, Reba McEntire's character.
Yeah.
He's like, put my gun, give my gun to this or whatever, take good care of it.
I miss it so much. And I guess to some extent you.
I love she's continuously, 25 years, Reba McEntire has never been involved in any other Tremors thing, but it's still a running thing, him and his ex-wife.
Yeah.
They had the asshole guy with the goggles that you knew was gonna die because he didn't believe in Burt.
Yeah.
And he gets killed by a corpse falling on him.
Yeah, an ass blaster.
Like Burt kills him?
Yeah. Yeah, apparently. Yeah, it's like a little weird because it landed on him and you're like, wait, is he dead? And then it's just like, yeah, I guess so.
Well, they said a line about it, like that he killed him, and then like, oh,
yeah.
okay. But Burt didn't care. I think that's the first time they've ever had, like, even indirectly, Burt kill a person. Didn't give a shit.
It wasn't his fault. He shot the ass blaster.
No,
and
but you
landed
would think
on
that would
him.
affect someone, that you killed someone. I guess he's seen a lot of people die, but it was sort of indirectly his fault that happened.
He's seen people die he cared about more than that
Yeah,
guy.
yeah. He's gonna cry over that. Can't believe asshole guy. He was my best friend. Let's bury him. We'll have a flag for him.
Yeah.
Play taps. They do the reveal that Jamie Kennedy is Burt's son, and I knew when they started leading up to it. They had a deleted scene where he starts hinting at it, where you would probably get it earlier in the movie, but they don't do it as much. And then when they start doing the, wait, how do you know about what I did in Florida 40 years ago? I'm like, oh no. I know what they're gonna do. No, please no. And then they do it, and he is his son. I don't know how I feel about that. I don't mind the idea of him having a son. Jamie
Just
Kennedy is
him.
Boom! Well, that's gotta stir up some shit, right?
It certainly could have been worse. They didn't have at least like kid with the chip on their shoulder or any of those annoying kid things.
Yeah, that's a good thing about it.
Yeah, I think it's just annoying because it's Jamie Kennedy.
Just because he's a son, I mean, doesn't really affect his character that much, so I don't care.
Yeah. Well, they didn't do any things like they have to have father-son bonding moments or anything like that.
Yeah, it wasn't that intrusive to the plot, so.
I guess story-wise, it makes sense too because, like at least for his character, I mean, obviously he's a lot older now. He doesn't have a wife anymore. They never had any kids, so I guess, that's sort of a way of expanding on his character and having him move forward in his life. Mm-hmm. Which they started a little bit in the series, but they didn't get very far with it in the TV series.
There needed to be more of that show.
There needed, yeah! Oh my gosh, I'm still sad all the stuff they never got to do.
Yeah, the show was actually really good.
Yeah. Bring it back. Now's the time.
Yeah.
Everyone. Okay,
more of the show.
Yeah, I'm going to say right now, buy Tremors 5, support the series, and maybe they'll bring back another show. Maybe they'll bring the sixth one, you never know what's going to happen there. We need Christopher Lloyd to come back.
Yeah.
All the classic people from the series. I was thinking too in this one, I'm like, what happened to the people in Perfection? What are they doing? Like, really cut back to them. They're having like a bake sale.
Yeah.
some really mundane thing.
We're joking about it just, Burt leaves for Africa and then we're stuck in Perfection watching them having a mundane day. Like, Burt comes back, ugh! God, you'll never guess what happened to me in Africa.
He's covered in goo, like, long story, don't ask.
Oh, graboids again, who cares? It's Melvin. Who cares, Burt? I'm rich.
Yeah, they needed a little asshole Melvin to come back and follow them to Africa. He's a stowaway.
Yeah.
I liked the helicopter guy. He was really cool. Mm-hmm. That he ends up getting eaten and just busting out.
Yeah, like, and then Bert's like, yeah, been there, done that. But I like their little bromance.
Yeah.
I tickle the insides of her belly a little bit. Been there, done that, my man.
There were some things that didn't seem to make sense to kind of get to some points. Like, when he agrees to go to South Africa with them, he makes some requests or brings some weapons with him. Either way, he has a stockpile of weapons to fight these. And they go, as they're on the plane, they're like, oh, we have actually a 3-day weapon quarantine in South Africa. You're not going to be able to take this stuff with you. And then Burt seems surprised by that. And you would think that Burt would know that. Like, for such a gun nut to know about the gun laws, especially when he's going to hunt graboids. You would think that that's something he would have a heads up on ahead of time. So that part was sort of like an excuse to get them to have less
and have to gradually get better guns as the movie goes along.
Yeah, he just keeps getting new weapons.
I liked when the vet woman gave him that, automatic. He's like, yeah, and they have their little moment. Then Jamie Kennedy's like, where'd you get that?
There he goes, like, why does a vet have that?
Just he interjects with something dumb, and they're just like, It's like, we were having a moment here, you were not invited.
What if they had, like, at the end, like in Indiana Jones 4, where, like, it was Shia LaBeouf in the hat, but it's Burt's hat and Jamie Kennedy, and then, nope. I almost wish at the end when he's just like, hey, where are you going? He's like, back to Florida. He's like, alright, take care. I almost wish credits.
Yeah.
Probably back to Florida.
Okay. You take care, you hear?
I would recommend definitely seeing Tremors 5. It's definitely a good action movie to watch. It does never feel lame. It's better than 4. It's a good continuation of the series. They have some nice side characters going on there. I'd say overall this was 2 thumbs up. Good winner.
Good effects, good story.
Check it out, guys.
Psycho.